Oh,
Hello, everybody.
fuck. That's a way to open it.
No, it's not. I forgot to put the
You
thing
forgot
up
to put
for
the soundboard up
for.
so that I could do the intro.
Well, we're
That's
intro.
fine.
Hi guys, welcome to Utterly Insane Productions. That's Mark. I'm Joe,
And you can actually hear Tanya now. She's got her own mic.
and we're
Isn't
live.
that cool?
And I'm in the corner. Are you live? Oh, wait,
I don't know. Am I live?
I don't feel a pulse.
You live or Memorex? See, I thought I was going to get to interview Manson.
So
I'm alive.
we're gonna be talking Charles
I'm The Walking
Manson,
Dead.
etc. And the interesting thing was, and I was trying to find that article. Go ahead, talk with. I'll let you go.
Hi, Cody, and hi, Robert.
I gotta find what I wanted to find.
Thank you for joining.
Me?
Hey,
Me
Ashley.
talk.
Thank you for joining.
What do you mean me talk? What the hell?
I needed to find that article I had up over there.
Mark was hoping to interview Charles Manson tonight, but he is not
He's
in character.
But nobody wants to get in character like you're supposed to.
Yeah, I can't do him too well. I can't make that crazy look. I'm not pure evil.
So yeah, we are talking about Charles Manson,
You're
which is the
Cardi.
notorious cult leader who had this nice big family,
I can't even find that
That-
article.
did murders in 1968 to 1969.
Yep. Well, you got Charles Miles Manson.
That was a middle name.
Miles. But he was born Charles Miles Maddox. Maddox.
Oh.
He was born in November 1934 in Cincinnati, Ohio. He died at the age of 83 while in prison.
2 years ago.
Actually, no, they claim here, according to this, that he died in Bakersfield. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, in prison.
No,
No,
I'm highlighting it here. It says
isn't it-
Bakersfield in a
Hospital.
charter city in Kern, as a charter city in Kern County, California, United States. It is the county seat of Kern County. The city covers about 151 square miles. And it's at the far end, the southern end of the San Joaquin Valley, and San Joaquin Valley in California is known as Central Valley.
Where you were.
Then that was smack dab center, about 21 miles south of Fresno. And Fresno's like
How far is
almost dead
Bakersfield?
center.
From where you were?
Bakersfield, from where I lived, was
I remember we drove through it on the way there.
I think it was about 80 something miles.
Oh, well.
It's quite a ways.
I remember that we drove
Okay.
through
I'll put it to you this way: from where I lived
He
at.
died in the hospital in Bakersfield.
Okay, there.
yeah, because he
From
was
where I lived at,
sick.
that.
I was 21 miles south of Fresno, but from where I was at there in a little town called Layton, it took me almost 2.5 hours to drive from there up to Six Flags Magic Mountain.
Hi, Molly. Thank you for joining.
I'm
He
all
died from
tired.
cardiac arrest resulting from respiratory failure and colon cancer at the hospital on November 19th.
Yeah, and that's kind of
I thought he
interesting
died
because it was 7 days after his actual birthday.
So that was his last day of.
Yeah.
And
Somewhat
so
freedom-
he had
freedom
just
before
turned
he went
83 and then he
to
died.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, 1 week later.
Yep.
Yeah.
7 days. 7 days.
Exactly.
1 week after his birthday. Yeah.
Exactly 1 week after his birthday.
What did he actually die of? He wasn't.
Cardiac
Complications.
arrest.
Cardiac
Oh, look.
complications.
Colon cancer.
Oh,
But nobody knew he was at the hospital. He was under guard.
well, yeah.
It was very private,
Oh.
security reasons, because
Yeah.
I'm sure if anybody knew that they have, that hospital will be
Well,
funded.
The prison
Well.
he was in, the prison they held him in was Corcoran State Prison, in the little town of Corcoran, California, which Highway 41 runs right next to it. You can actually see the prison because Highway 41 runs right next to it. And I have 2 nephews and a nephew-in-law who is no longer married to my niece, but who all three of them were prison guards. Don't know if any of them had ever been assigned to watch over Manson, but I do recall one of them being a guard out at Corcoran Prison at one time. In the state of California, you can kind of transfer between the prison systems,
Yeah.
and depending on where you're at, where you're located at, and everything. But I think it would be interesting if he actually did.
Yeah.
There was,
Wow.
a guard over it. So
But,
yeah, I
yeah,
knew exactly. I could have took people on tours when out there, showing you exactly where Manson was being held at.
I wonder if all his problems and all his things started because of the way he was born and raised.
Well, that's what he claimed.
Well, if
that's
you
the thing.
just read it.
I know.
He was,
I don't have to
he
read
was
it.
born to Kathy Maddox,
She was a
a
prostitute.
16-year-old girl who was both an alcoholic and a prostitute.
Yeah.
She later married William Manson, but their marriage ended quickly, and Charles was placed in a boys' home at the age of 12.
Yeah, and then he ran away.
But that's because they rejected in his attempts to return to his mother. That's why he ended up on the streets.
Well,
You know,
That could have a lot to do with it because
well,
he was trying to find love
all right.
in all the wrong places.
First
but
of all,
that's the thing.
we got into this quite quickly here, but the first thing I wanted to say about this is because today, I also noticed today, it was kind of a coincidence that when I woke up this morning and I logged into Yahoo, on the first page of Yahoo, they were talking about one of the Manson family followers being up for parole and then being rejected by the California governor, and I can't even remember his name because I can't find that article anymore. But he rejected it, and that just happened like today, where he rejected it. And he was one of the people that were part of the
This is kind of
the Hyman murders, where like here's the other interesting fact about Manson, that the Tate LaBianca murders and Gary Hyman murder, Manson did not handle any one of the murder weapons. He was not at the scene of the crime when any of the murders took place, but yet he was charged for all these murders. It's kind of like an interesting case in history where the guy he actually got convicted for it when he actually didn't participate in the murder. But he did cut off Gary Hyman's ear with a sword.
That's
Not nice for Gary Hyman.
Well, here's
Not much
here's
fun,
something on his Wikipedia
Grandpa
page.
Meister.
His dad, his actual father, according to this, was a colonel.
Oh.
It was Colonel W.H. Scott Sr.
Oh.
So that's kind of interesting, actually. That was, according to this, his actual dad.
Yeah.
And his stepdad was William Manson.
Mm.
That would have been his stepfather. The
I didn't
the
get
guy
from
his mother
Ohio all
was
the way to
Kathleen
California.
Maddox.
Must have.
Well, that depends. I mean,
Must have hitchhiked or something on the way there.
well,
That's quite a ways.
well,
from Ohio all the way
how
to
did my parents get to
Well,
California?
you know what?
One
That
of them
was
was from
also-
Oklahoma, and the other
You got to
one
realize
was from
that was
Arkansas.
also the 60s,
Well, yeah, they probably
and
hitchhiked
stuff
all
like
the way.
that. It's not just that. That's where everybody was going to that Love Hyatt, the Hyatt district or whatever
I was there actually.
You know.
It was in San Francisco.
Okay, the San Francisco and the LA areas. The San Francisco area, that's where that's
all
where
the
all
love
the
and
peace
hippies
and
all the
went.
love and peace and
Peace
hippies.
and
The
love.
11 piece hippies and gays.
Yeah.
That's where they all fled to, is San Francisco, and then also down in the Los Angeles
Is that where the
basin. There was
Hyatt
places
district
down
is,
there.
San Francisco?
I don't remember. There, and then down in the LA area, there was those
Haight
down
and
there.
Ashford.
Haight and Ashbury. Yeah, that's it. Haight and
Ashbury. 8 and Ashbury.
That's it.
So that's where all the younger.
We
that's where all
purposely
the
went
younger
there when
crew
we were
was
in San
going.
Francisco.
That's where Manson went to prey on some of these
Yeah.
Younger
people that were.
Yeah.
He knew that he was
Displaced.
able to. He knew he was able to manipulate them.
Well, yeah, he learned how to do that while he was in prison by reading all those books. I mean, he was a smart man. He was dangerous. That's why they kept him in
Bad
solitary
combination.
confinement. They couldn't put him in general population.
Well, that was the thing with Manson. And that was another thing. If you were a prison guard in the state of California during his incarceration, you were put. If you were put on Manson, you were put on him. I think for maybe two days total.
Did they put him in
And they
a?
were rotated out
Did
constantly.
they put him in a
and
cell like Cannibal? Like a
They
big glass
never put the same guard on him twice. Ever.
cell? Oh no, and could manipulate him.
Exactly.
I don't
Because of the
know.
way he was
I mean-
manipulative, they did not want anything to happen like that.
I haven't really myself personally seen any of the pictures or anything of him being in a cell or incarcerated.
Yeah.
Most of the ones that I have seen, it's been behind bars, not like Lecter from Silence of the Lambs.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, because they had him behind like a big glass.
But I mean, when he's been in some of these
containment
interviews,
thing.
with the reporters over the years, you know, they've got armed guards right there, and
Oh, yeah.
lots of them,
Well,
you know, and he's got shackles on that you probably, because you ain't going to see
Yeah,
those on
Molly,
camera.
Hannibal was a little
Jennifer-
different than him, dude. Still
And
psycho.
Lee.
Well, now I've only got two up here.
Manson was
Wow.
extremely dangerous, and the thing is, it makes him
I
so
don't know.
dangerous.
If
is that
Fisher's
man's
still
got
on, she might know who was.
that man's got so many devout followers that there's probably some still ones out there today that would kill for him.
I'm
Today.
sure they are.
I might know who.
That's why I said earlier, Linda Kasabian, one of the people that were present
What
at
is
the Tate
this?
murders, she's still, even though he's dead, she's
Are you able
still
to hear me?
probably under the Federal
Okay,
Witness
then.
Protection Program.
I don't know.
And,
No, that's all right. Don't worry about it. People can tell me if they can hear me.
they
See,
were.
you didn't have that on. Well, I just want to make sure my mic's working properly.
It should be. Can you hear me?
Tom's asking, did he get married in prison or just proposed?
He
to?
was
No, he
married
was-
twice.
Twice in prison.
He
He
was
was
married-
married
he
twice,
was married
and
twice.
at the end, he was engaged.
He had
He was-
3 kids.
He was Rosalie Willis. He was married to her from 1955 and divorced her in 1958.
And they had a child named Charles,
Okay, and then
who committed
Leona
suicide in
Stevens.
1990.
Leona Stevens was the other one. He married her in 1959 and divorced her in 1963.
And they had a child named Charles.
Well, this says children two,
I think
one
I heard
alleged.
Charles.
Right.
Well, one
And
had
then
committed suicide in 1990.
Okay.
And then there was a big fight over his remains and his estate after he died that lasted off
his
over a year.
Grandson got it.
Yeah, his grandson
His
won.
grandson, whose father is Charles Manson Jr.
What crazy broad, you know, hanging out with
And
kids.
he said he
There's
was
plenty
going
of them.
to cremate him and spread his ashes in an undisclosed area.
Yeah, that makes me feel better.
Did you know that when he was
Yeah.
born that he was actually no name Maddox?
No name Maddox.
He didn't have a name.
Here's a fuck up one. Just think about this though. Let's just say for the sake of argument, I know he said undisclosed location, right? Let's just say this kid goes and spreads
Really?
his ashes over the Spawn Ranch. Okay, that's the one that used to look like an old abandoned Western movie theater.
It's an interesting name for a
That's
ranch,
because
isn't it?
it was
Right, it was an old abandoned Western.
It wasn't abandoned. It used to be a
Wow.
movie set.
When they were there, it looked like a ghost town.
Well,
Interesting
anyway,
name for a ranch, though.
But let's just say that happens, right? And somebody goes out there, okay, now that he's gone, all right, after his ashes have been spread, and they go out there and they're going to explore him and then they see the ghost of that fucker.
That'd be cool.
That would
cool.
be,
That'd be cool.
that might be the only ghost I'd run from.
I'd actually.
You won't be able to do anything to you.
I would. I
You
would
actually believe that?
I would be one of the crazy fuckers to
Do you hear
talk
what
to
she
him.
said?
He ain't gonna be able to do anything to you. I know.
Do you actually believe that?
He's a ghost. What's he gonna do?
How
You
is he
never know.
banging in prison?
Okay.
They do have, what are those called? Where a husband and wife can
Conjugal visits.
conjugal visit. He probably had them in prison once he got married.
Yeah, possibly.
That's how he
That's a
was
creepy
able to
thought.
father
Father
some children.
Anyway,
Oh, God.
now I'm reading some of this here on the Wikipedia page. It says the Los Angeles District Attorney said that Manson was obsessed with the Beatles,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where he got the idea of the
particularly
baseball.
their 1968
From
self-titled
Helter Skelter.
album known as the White Album.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where he got the idea of the race war.
He claimed to be guided by his inspiration of the Beatles lyrics and adopted the term Helter Skelter to describe an impending apocalyptic race war.
What did the Beatles think about that?
No, I'm not sure. I'm not seeing anything that they said
There,
about
I
it
was gonna
here.
say I haven't found anything whether they said anything about it either.
I'm sure they knew about it, but no.
At trial, the prosecution claimed that Manson and his followers believed that the murderers would help precipitate the war. Other
Yeah, that's why they were
contemporary
writing things like
interviews
political
and
piggy,
those who testified
Helter
during the
Skelter, which was
penalty
misspelled.
phase of Manson's trial insisted that the Tate LaBianca murders be copied
Yes,
as
oh, that's
copycat
all right,
crimes
right.
designed to exonerate Manson's friend Bobby Busoli. Or
Yeah.
Busello.
Yeah,
Whatever.
He was the one that was arrested for the Gary Hyman murder.
I see.
He got caught driving.
Remember, you got to pay attention over there.
He got caught driving a dead man's car, and that's how he got arrested. Bobby.
Yeah, you got
Busolayer,
to pay attention over there
Right.
for questions, kiddo.
The last one was
I can't always, if I'm reading
Yeah.
here, I can't always be over there.
I mean, that's where the closest thing that murder, the Hyman murder, was the closest thing that he actually did to actually committing murder was when he cut off the guy's ear. You know, I mean, they could have left him to bleed out, but they actually killed him. I mean, you know, because he left 3 of his followers there. And that Bobby Busoli was the one that got caught for that and charged for that Gary Hinman murder. So they were like thinking it was a copycat. But see, back then in 1969, you didn't have the DNA analysis that we've got now.
No, you don't have all that stuff.
You didn't have interagency cooperations or where they had computers that were like mega hooked up to a huge network of a crime database like they do now. So there was no way to tie into these, you know, this one and over here is like saying, oh, we got this blood over here, it's the Black Panthers, and then they say, oh no, we got the same blood, the same type of writing on the walls in the victim's blood, you know, aren't these connected? And they were having disputes between these 2 departments because it was 2 different jurisdictions, and then they finally put things together when, you know, I think they got all arrested one time for like some petty theft charges. And
There you
then
go.
while they were
Cult information.
going through the process, the court process for these petty theft charges, that's when Sadie was opening up her mouth, Susan Atkins, to her cellmate, saying, "Oh, you know that Tate murder? They're never going to catch that. They don't even know that they got the person that did that right here, you know." And she described the house to a T, and she not knowing that her cellmate had actually been in that house years before that because her and her husband were trying to rent that house. So, you know, she knew about the beams in the living room that Sadie described and said, okay, yeah, that was the house. So she went to the police and here, you know, and then Linda Kasabian, who was at the Sharon Tate, you know, the Sharon Tate murder house too, but she didn't partake in it because she freaked out beforehand.
This one
and
here
got sent back to the car.
From 1968 to 71. Cult formation,
Became their
murders,
star
and trial.
witness.
And trail. Once discharged from prison, Manson began attracting a group of followers, mostly young women from around California. They were later dubbed the Manson family. The group was involved in the murder of Gary Hinman in July of '69,
Right.
then gained notoriety or national notoriety after the murder of actress Sharon Tate and 4 others in her home on August 8th and 9th.
Abigail Folger was part of that too.
They took 2 days to fucking kill those people.
Mm-hmm.
To fuck with them like that. That's fucking torture.
Oh yeah, they were
crazy fucking shit.
and they were stabbed.
And that was
so
in
many times
1969.
that it made it an extremely horrendous crime because as many times as they were stabbed, and one of them had one of those the forks, you know, the big forks that you would use on like a grill or you know the 2-pronged fork,
A meat fork.
right, stuck in their back.
They have, and then Leno and Rosemary LaBianca the next day.
That's the
So-
one.
So
that
how long did
Manson,
it take for
Manson
the cops to know? and
Manson
find
went
out
in
everything?
that house and actually tied up the
For the Sharon
LaBiancas,
Tate,
and then went back out to
maid
the car
had come
and
in
sent
and
his
found
group
them.
in there to murder him. And then
maid
took
had come
off
in
with the car.
to work, and she
And
So
found
if
them there.
So if they wouldn't have had
Find
a
their own
maid,
way
they would have
back.
been laying there for a long time.
yeah.
Yeah, Lynette
Oh.
Squeaky Fromme, and it is spelled Fromme.
Yeah, she's
That's
the one
what I
that
said.
was Gerald Ford that she got, and she's the one that's actually out on parole. Out of all of them, she got parole.
The core member of Manson's following included Charles Tex Watson,
If I figured she's old
musician
enough
and
now,
former
she wouldn't be
actor.
young.
former musician and pornographic actor Robert Busolio, Mary Brunner, previously a librarian, Susan Atkins,
Sadie
Linda
Kasabian.
Kasabian, Patricia
Krenwinkel.
Krenwinkel.
It's Krenwinkel.
Well, how come they spell it Krenwinkel?
That's how it's spelled, but they pronounce it. I've seen the interviews.
What
Patricia
the fuck?
Korwinkle. Patricia Korwinkle.
How do you get
Linda
no,
Kasabian.
no, 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 no,
How
no,
do
no.
you get Krenwinkel
How do
from
you get
Krenwinkel?
I don't know.
Korwinkle?
I don't know. I'm telling you, that's
This is how the last name
But
is
remember,
spelled.
it's
people.
maybe not spelled right
People
on
don't
here.
know the vowels.
This is how they got the last name spelt here. Krenwinkel.
I don't know.
They got it spelt as Krenwinkel.
I'm telling you.
How the fuck do you get Krenwinkel
when
out of
I see
that?
the interviews and stuff with her and stuff
Yeah,
recently,
that's how they pronounce
that's how
it.
they
Boy.
pronounce
And
it.
Leslie
It's
Van
Krenwinkel.
Houten, or Houghton,
Leslie Van Houten.
or whatever. Well, most members are still serving their sentence. George
But Susan
Brogan
Atkins was known as
was
Sadie.
released on parole in '85, and Kasabian was granted immediate immunity for her role as a witness to the
Yeah, she was their star witness.
prosecution in Manson's trial. Oh, wait a minute.
I let Joy out
Brogan.
to go bathroom.
Linda Kasabian had a daughter named Tanya, and she's now and probably for the rest of her life will be living under federal witness protection program because of death threats, because she was the star witness, basically.
Yeah.
She was the one that helped. What was his name? I just had it.
So who is Brogan? Because I don't remember seeing the name in here. Did I read it?
That'd be Basilio. Steve Clem Grogan. He murdered Donald Shea.
Well, it says here he was released on parole in '85.
He was born in July 13th, 1951. High school dropout.
See, he knows more about Manson than I do. He could probably do a lot of this from memory. I got to read most of it.
I'm trying to think of the
So that dude would be looking like.
Although Grogan was originally sentenced to death, the presiding judge reduced his sentence to life in prison because he felt Grogan was too intellectually inept.
Are you reading any of the questions over there?
Vincent Belowski or something like
You're not
that
reading
was the
Did you guys see
district
Once Upon a
attorney.
Time in Hollywood?
No,
You know, I don't know if I have.
I haven't
actually.
seen that. No, that's a brand new movie.
Is it?
Yeah, it's that brand new movie. It's about the Manson family.
Molly stole Tom's phone.
Yeah, I see that.
I haven't.
That's what I'm saying. You got to pay attention over there, girl.
I haven't seen that one yet. I
You're not
want
paying
to see
attention.
it
You're
bad.
screwing up.
Oh,
We put a mic in front of you and you turn it
Grogan
to
received parole in 1985.
we put a mic in front of you and you just
After revealing
lose
to authorities
all
location.
composure.
Was that movie good? Molly, was that movie good?
So you can't put a mic in front of her.
I haven't
She
seen it yet.
doesn't pay attention.
I own
paying
Helter
attention.
Skelter, that Jeremy
Uh-huh.
Davis. I mean, I saw that guy
I didn't know
later
they
in
made
Lost,
a movie in
and he played Manson so well that when you watched him in Lost many years later, because I think that Helter Skelter
Oh,
movie
yeah.
was done like in the 80s. And so when Jeremy Davis came on Lost, you know, towards the end, the last couple of seasons, you could see those Manson mannerisms come out.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Really, a
big
lot.
time in
Yeah.
that Lost,
Yeah.
you know, episodes that he was in. I mean, he really dove
So they had him at
into
San.
the mind of
They had him
Manson.
at San Quentin prison at one time.
Mhm.
In fact, 2007,
What'd
the
she say?
MSNBC
I asked her a question.
She
aired
didn't reply yet.
Oh,
The Mind of Manson, and they interviewed him at San Quentin. But I think the last prison he was in was Corcoran.
yeah, that sounds right.
In 2010, the Los Angeles Times reported Manson was caught with a cell phone in 2009 and had contacted people in California, New Jersey, Florida, and British Columbia.
See, there was a television movie done in '76, but that one kind of sucked. It was called Helter Skelter as well. But there was a Helter.
But they made a new one about him?
Yeah, it was done in like
Manson
1980
suffering
something. There was
from-
one that had.
Oh.
She said it wasn't based on facts. It was an hour too long for shooting scenery, but it was just okay.
Okay.
Let's see now.
Well, see, that's the problem with Hollywood. They do all these movies. They claim to be based on this or based on
No,
that, but
yeah.
yet they're not. They're not based
That-
on anything proper. If you're going to do a movie like that, and you're going to, you know, you're going to want people to believe what's there, you need to really do your research, and you really need to
This is
put
why.
everything together.
This is why.
Oh, it's all you had to do, Molly, is tell me that Tarantino was behind it, and I would have been like, okay, I got that, because he's a fucking idiot.
Who's Tarantino?
Quentin Tarantino.
Okay, who is it?
The only good movie that he really did was Kill Bill Volume 1 and Volume 2.
Never seen it.
Those were the only good ones, because they weren't based on anything.
That means he didn't have to get the facts straight.
Exactly.
Yeah, he didn't.
Jeez. Which
Um,
means he can't do basically
Actually, I
biographical
think he
movies.
did Pulp Fiction, too. Pulp Fiction was actually kind of cool.
I didn't watch that either.
That was John Travolta.
That was John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson in that one. They were the main characters.
Oh, that was crazy.
But no, Tarantino, anytime he tries to do anything that's based on anything, it turns out to be a flop.
Because he doesn't get his facts straight.
No, he doesn't get anything straight. He's too used to making movies like Kill Bill and Pulp Fiction.
In other words, he can't do biographical movies.
No.
He can do non-fiction
Pretty much.
movies.
So it sounds like you
Non-fiction
can
is
do it.
Well,
more
anyway.
facts.
Yeah, it looks like Corcoran was the last one. Because
They say Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs ruled.
no, Pulp Fiction was good. I agree there, but Reservoir Dogs,
What was that one that I saw?
That one with Jeremy Davis was done in 2004.
Oh,
I was wrong. It
The
wasn't an
Reservoir
80s
Dogs
movie.
wasn't as good as it could have been.
What is it about?
It's kind of about mob and stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
It's been a while since I've seen it. Now I like Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction was funny.
I
It
might
was
have
cool.
seen
But
that.
now
I don't
here-
remember.
Earlier this year, also Patricia Corwin-Cole. Speaking of her, she was up for parole. The parole board granted it to her, but then again, the governor, and I think it's the same governor that denied the guy today, denied her parole.
Yeah, it could be Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, Newsom.
In
Yeah.
other words, the governor isn't seeing that they were rehabilitated enough
Well, that's what's got me puzzled about this.
Well, he
That's
fucked,
what's got me puzzled
Manson
about this
fucked
one.
them up so bad that some of them, right up like
Yes,
like Sadie, Susan Atkins, right up to the
Or
day
this-
she died,
Rogan.
she basically showed no remorse in any of her interviews ever.
She wouldn't come in there.
She actually acted more proud and
I hope you
laughed.
looked her up
and,
right.
You know, she was a fucking nutcase in a way. She was almost like probably the female version of Manson, but she couldn't keep her mouth shut.
Basically, you're telling me that Manson took her and turned her into his very own Harley Quinn.
I don't think it's yeah, exactly. That's a good analogy of that one.
Exactly.
Hey, we got homework.
That's
Homework.
Homework.
No.
Rewatch Reservoir Dogs.
I don't do
It holds
homework.
up.
I don't do homework.
Oh, wait a minute. Do we have to do that before the 7th? Are you going to grill us on it when we see you?
I don't do homework.
Homework.
Homework? I have enough homework with school. And it's
Yeah.
getting kind of hard.
This guy was a fucked up dude, though.
No, he was. He was twisted. He
I've
was
seen
uber twisted.
I've got a documentary up here, and I've got the Helter Skelter movie with Jeremy Davis, the 2004
Yeah, I haven't seen
one.
it. I don't believe I've seen the Helter Skelter movie.
There's two of them. There's one that was done in the 70s,
And I
that one
could
kinda
check. I
sucked.
could check Prime now that I've got. I ditched Netflix. Netflix was so fucking bad.
And I've seen just about
Every goddamn
documentary
time I went on
TV.
Netflix to try to watch it, I'm sitting there for 5-10 minutes before it would load anything,
Then it wouldn't move.
and then it would freeze up, and then it would kick me off, and all kinds of
Yeah, you
shit.
just got, it's
So
just,
I went to
it just didn't
Amazon
like you.
Prime.
It
I went to Amazon Prime.
It just didn't like you.
I don't quite get it. That was the only
It just
one.
didn't like
That
you.
was the only streaming service that I always had
It
problems
didn't like
with.
you.
Everybody else, I was fine
Yeah,
with.
around potty. Yeah.
Now you know what you can do? You can buy the Disney package, that new Disney streaming service with Hulu and
Yeah, I was
ESPN.
talking about that the other day.
ESPN. I got an email about it
Oh,
today.
you mean Hulu, the one where you pay for the service but you still get the fucking ads?
Or only half the season,
Yes.
or only partial
You're paying
episodes
for
from this
Hulu,
season, or partial episodes
and you're
that
still
season.
getting the ads.
Yeah, I'll never go back to Hulu.
Why the fuck?
No,
Yup.
that's your
And he
language.
goes,
This is
who
a
is
PG
Mr.
show.
Pink?
Bastard.
No, it's not. We're talking about one of
Mr. Pink.
the craziest motherfuckers in the
And
world.
I thought that was me.
Cameron Brower
Okay.
is on. Thank you for joining.
Hi, how you doing?
I thought I was the craziest fucker in the world.
Cameron Brower.
So
You know-
who is Mr. Pink?
You know what? That is kind of funny, though.
So we have to
What?
watch. We have to
What?
watch Reservoir Dogs
I wish-
by the 7th of December,
I wish I would
Yep.
have.
Who's Mr. Pink?
and we have to tell him who
Uh-huh.
Mr. Pink is.
I wish I would have watched.
Well, if it was Miss Pink, I'd say it's between her legs, but.
Oh, God.
I almost thought about watching The Gray Out.
Sorry, I get vulgar. I'm bad.
Hey, I almost thought about watching The Gray Out. But the problem is that I would have had to do like Jeremy Davis. I would have had to take time and study this motherfucker and study all these mannerisms and stuff like this.
Hey, watch your
And-
language. This is a PG show.
Fuck
And
off.
wait a minute. He would have had to put a swastika on his head.
And
Oh, we
Or
got
an axe.
Sharpies.
yeah, but
Or
We got Sharpies.
I would have had to
I don't
have him
think I
get
ever
in my
read
head, and
Huh?
I don't know if I could
well, the
handle
axe,
that.
you'd need a red one.
But it is kind of
No,
funny.
you
I
put-
have
you put the
had fun
swastika
with
with a
that
Sharpie.
because people think that I look like him in a way. I like to have fun with that, especially that one day Tanya and I went into Dollar General and we're sitting there getting cigarettes and
Cameron's telling you
we're
to
sitting
go
there getting
to
cigarettes. You know how the Dollar General
MyAreaLifePodcast.com.
You know how the Dollar General sits there and no matter how old you look or how old you are,
Cool.
they gotta card you for
I'll check
cigarettes,
that out.
right?
That's her podcast.
So I went in there to get cigarettes at the Dollar
Really?
General and they asked me for my
That's what it
ID.
says. My only life
And because he
podcast
passed
with
away
Cameron
and all
Bauer.
of this shit, he was on the cover of Time
Broward.
magazine, right? Charles Manson was on the cover of Time magazine. So I pointed to the cover of Time magazine and I said, "There's my ID right there." And she started fucking laughing.
I don't want to click on it.
I thought
because I
they
don't
No,
were
you
want
don't
piss
click
their
on it.
pants. So, but The worst part of the whole thing about
I think
looking
their
like
face had
him,
to be a little fuller.
yeah, I think so too. And I
His
don't
face
think
was
they
a
could
little
ever
fuller.
nail that crazy fucking eye look that he's got.
Yeah.
But, you know,
I don't know. You got your own crazy outlook.
fuck off.
Like this one?
But the worst part about
Yeah.
this is to have your own mother sit there and tell you that you look like Charles Manson out of the fucking out of fucking
Oh, you know
nowhere.
what?
You know,
He's got it down
Yeah.
pat. Charles Manson used to say that he was Jesus Christ.
What?
Who else says that?
He does.
He does.
I'm Jesus
don't.
Christ.
And
My
I'm God.
initials, my initials prove it. It's LJC, Lord Jesus Christ.
Oh, jeez.
Those are my initials. It says so on my birth certificate.
know what?
LJC.
I am bookmarking Cameron's
I know what that is.
page right
No,
now.
it's kind of
'cause I
funny
wanna
now.
check
I
this
call
out.
myself Jesus Christ, but on the other hand, I also call myself Charles Manson.
Yeah.
So Cameron, if you're still on, I just.
But then again,
bookmarked
if
your
I pull the
page.
glasses out that I got in the mail the other day, I could turn around and say that I'm Tommy Chong.
Yeah, she's still on.
So you got different identities.
I found those round glasses too, by the way, but they're too big, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
And so you're so up now she's back.
No, I don't know if.
But she says Charles Manson should be so lucky because you guys are going to show him.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if Jennifer's still on. My niece Jen.
When you put
but
those
if she
glasses
is,
on, they're
She
too
might
big.
know which one of
Yeah, I
Which
got
one of
the smaller
the-
ones.
the guys was the security that did the
Correctional officer.
correctional officer at Corcoran. In fact, I think Ron and Tim
But yeah, you're right.
were
Because
there.
She's back.
because here's one thing you are right, and this is the reason why. Because Charles Manson was so dangerous. When they
UFOs
put him
cooking.
in solitary
Is
confinement,
it alien food?
and I don't know if it was every 2 days. I don't know what the exact
Are they all in one?
time frame was, but they did
I gotta
have
definitely
to.
watch that.
They had no choice because like
I bookmarked it.
Hannibal
I
Lecter,
just
can't.
opened it. I opened
Okay.
it in another.
Well, I
Well,
can't.
I'll get it to you.
Charles Manson would be able to get into
Yeah.
your mind just by talking to you. So they had to rotate the guards.
Oh yeah.
They
Yeah,
had
they
no
had to.
choice but to
They
rotate them
couldn't
off.
have-
Back to their head.
I don't think they were able to keep one guard on him more than 2 days because
No.
he
I don't know what the
had
exact
such a
time
way
frame
of
is, but
getting
they had to
in
because-
everybody's mind that he would screw them up.
I mean,
She sent another link.
what these people, like these reporters, you
I
would,
see that.
if you've ever watched some of these,
Oh,
here's
stop.
something to do one day. If Charles
Yeah.
Manson really interests you,
Go.
here's something to do one day.
Go.
Go and watch on YouTube. Go and watch some of the old
Okay.
Charles Manson interviews with reporters, and pay attention to the reporters.
Oh, that one.
Don't pay
that one
attention to
brings me right
Manson
to
so
the-
much, but pay
podcast.
attention to the reporters, because as those interviews go on, you can see that
All right,
that
bookmark it,
Manson
Cameron.
is literally getting inside those reporters' minds and making them nervous.
Well, I'd be nervous running them too.
And
Oh, he. Okay.
these interviews aren't
Here's-
very long. to begin
It's
with.
kind of like what I just told him. He's talking about this. Which one was it you were talking about? Not Squeaky, but the other one.
Patricia
Yeah,
Corlico.
the
Oh, Sadie.
Sadie.
Susan
Yeah.
Atkins.
Yeah, Susan Atkins. You're talking about how he fucked her up so bad and she had no remorse and everything. And I said this to him. I don't know if he caught that. I said, so basically, Manson, his mind and everything was so twisted. He's kind of like Joker.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he
Yeah.
took Atkins and made his own Harley
Harley
Quinn.
Quinn. Right. That's the perfect way to put it.
You may have said it when I was taking joy out.
But seriously,
Yeah.
I mean, think about that.
No.
She
Yeah.
She was so fucking twisted and screwed
No.
that she was kind of like Harley Quinn's to Joker.
she never showed any remorse. Now, if
because
you-
Harlena Quinzel started out as a psychiatrist who was assigned to
Joker.
evaluate
the Joker,
the Joker. What was his name again?
Jack Napier.
Yeah, Jack Napier. She was assigned to evaluate Jack Napier when he was in Arkham.
and he got inside of her head
And
so
he got
bad
inside of her head. And
that she fell in love with him.
yeah,
Obsessed.
obsessed with him.
Obsessed.
Not just enough.
Obsessively loved it.
Obsessed.
She was obsessed with him.
So
Well,
she became his.
so no matter what
Harlequin.
he did, or how bad he did, or how bad he treated her,
He was okay with
And he
it.
could treat her
She
as
was
bad
okay
as
with
he
it.
wanted to, and she didn't care. She loved it. She was there. She
as
was
long
there.
as she
for
got
him.
her attention, his attention.
Yep.
And it's the same
And
thing with those
that
Manson
is
families.
exactly the way this is.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, do you think maybe that they used him as an example
I
and
don't
her
think
as
so.
an example to fucking create those
Oh, maybe. It's
to
possible,
create
but
those characters?
it's
That would be twisted if that actually was.
I don't think so, but I mean, yeah, you could see the.
Well,
you
what
could-
came first, Manson?
you could actually
or,
see the-
Well, Manson was known about back in the 60s.
I mean, he's pure evil. No matter how long that man would have lived.
Yeah,
I know
how
he's
did
from the
Queen
60s,
come about so?
All right. No matter how long Manson lived,
No.
you were.
She was part of the DC universe.
There was no way.
A long time ago.
If you would have let him out of prison, if he would have gotten paroled, it would have started all over again. And maybe now, because of the technology and stuff, it would have been worse. And he may have never been caught after that.
I'm paid attention.
Okay? That's the thing.
Whatever.
This guy was pure evil. I don't think he had a good bone in his body
How did they
or a
end up
good
catching him?
intention in his body. Same with the Joker. Everything about the Joker. And the thing is, Manson also talked in riddles a lot. Kind
How
of like
did they end
cryptic
up
little
catching
messages
Manson?
when he talked sometimes, and gibberish.
How did they end up catching Manson?
Well, when they,
They
like I
already had
said,
him in prison.
they already had him in jail for like petty theft charges.
Oh,
And
okay.
because
They-
Sadie opened her mouth,
Oh, okay, okay.
That's
Sadie
Had
Owen
loose
was
lips
fucking mouth.
and
Okay.
spoke to one of her
Oh, okay,
cellmates, saying, "I killed Sharon Tate."
Oh.
And then they got Linda Kasabian and basically turned the deal with her. So she was, what do they call that?
State's evidence.
No, yeah, it's not just that. They immunity. They granted her total immunity.
Granted her immunity to turn
So,
state's evidence against
She
Manson.
became their star witness. And
Yeah.
to this day, she is under federal witness protection. So if you see any interviews, it's blacked out. Her face is blacked out, so you can't see what she looks like.
her
Yeah.
real name is
And her
on there,
real name's
not the
her
one
real
that
name's on there,
Okay.
and her voice has changed.
Yeah.
They use, a modulator
Yeah.
to change her voice.
Yeah.
But
They
then
have to.
now you look at
Well, that's kind of interesting.
now go and look at some of the recent interviews with Patricia Corwinkle and the other one that's in there with her right now that's still alive. I had the name. It was Patricia
Squeaky,
Corwinkle. No, she's not in jail anymore.
No,
She's living in
Squeaky's
New
living
York.
in New York.
Squeaky's out on
parole. She's living in New York with her boyfriend.
Patricia
Who's a
Corwinkle,
Manson
Linda
obsessed?
Kasabian.
Who's a Manson obsessed convict?
I had it on the tip of my tongue just now and I lost it. My train derailed. But anyway,
There's
there's two of them still in jail, and it's not Sadie because Sadie died.
Patricia Corwinkle, Leslie Van Houten.
Leslie Van Houten. All right, so you look at the interviews, look at recent interviews with Patricia Corwinkle and Leslie Van Houten, and you can go back 10, 20 years. They've been in jail for about 50 years now or whatever. Yeah, it's about 50 years now, okay? 69, 50 years, okay? You can go back 30, 40 years even on some of these interviews with these two women, okay? And you'll see a lot of remorse. And then you'll start seeing a lot of dislike, resentment towards Manson, okay? And they're still being put in jail and vaccinated with money. I don't think personally, from what I've seen of these people,
They should be paroled.
I think these two old women
did you
should
hear
be
about this?
paroled. I don't think they should be. I don't think they're a danger because they've showed so much remorse and they've been model prisoners and stuff like this to the point where
But have they been rehabilitated to
I'm
where
pretty
they can
sure-
enter a normal life? Or are they too screwed up to where
they might be
will be
well, they're probably
institutionalized.
institutionalized. But see, a lot of
Did you-
people get
did you read about this one?
institutionalized. real easily.
On September 25th of 84, Manson was imprisoned in the California Medical Facility at Vacaville when inmate Jan Holmstrom poured paint thinner on him and set him on fire,
Yeah, I read about
causing
that.
second and third degree burns
Damn.
on over 20% of his body.
That's probably one
Holmstrom-
reason why was in solitary.
Holmstrom
Yeah.
explained that Manson had objected to his Hare Krishna chants and verbally threatened him.
You got somebody's head and they reacted.
Yep.
That's why
Got
they
their
couldn't
head-
keep him
got
in
their
general
head and he
population. I bet that
That's
prison
exactly
learned right
why.
after that too, not to keep him in
Well,
general population.
that one was
No.
that one was
A little payback.
I mean-
medical facility.
He
But
is.
he also did he did an interview with Geraldo Rivera in '88,
Oh, God.
and it was part of Geraldo's primetime special on Satanism.
I wonder if Geraldo had to check his drawers after that.
I bet.
I mean, could you imagine Geraldo? I mean, that son of a bitch. What do you remember that time that son of a bitch got punched
Yep.
on live
He
TV?
didn't get punched. He got slapped open-handed over both ears.
Yeah, the
Oh,
chair.
he got his nose
it busted.
broken on TV or something.
But do you remember?
Somebody hit him with a chair or something.
No,
There.
no.
No.
He
That's
did an
not him,
interview.
I'm sure.
He did an interview with a wrestler. Back in the '80s,
Yeah.
he did an interview with a wrestler
He's
and
such a
accused him of being fake.
well. It was a fake.
Right, but the wrestler got pissed
Sorry, Tom.
Yeah.
It's
and he
true.
open-handed slapped
Mhm.
Geraldo on both sides of the head, and it busted one of his eardrums.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, and he ever since then he's been partially deaf in that ear.
He's been such an
Wow.
embarrassment to the journalism media.
Lately, yes.
Well, even
Yeah.
back,
No,
remember
back then he did well. He was
Well, I don't
really good.
know.
He
He
did.
I
was
don't know.
goofy, but he was okay then.
the
but-
bit, one of the biggest,
Not
one of
Lately
the-
now,
He's a
it's
Trumpster now.
a bad thing. You know,
one of
we're
his
not-
biggest
we're not going
faults
off
that
on
everybody
him.
talks
I know,
about.
but
Okay,
I
let's
We're
get
gonna
back on
Search for
subject.
Al Capone's vault.
Yeah, I know.
Let's
Yeah,
get
Mom.
back on
That
Manson.
yeah.
was a bust for him. But
Got about 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
You timing me?
That's a
10 minutes.
full hour.
10 minutes and that'll be a full hour.
10
Yeah.
minute.
10 minute.
10 minute. When Mark orders
I want-
Chinese,
But this
10
has been a
minute.
very full hour. I mean,
Yeah.
Right. Is there any more questions? Any more people saying anything?
Nope.
But I've seen just about every one of his documents.
But nobody wants
that's
to
been
watch
made
it
on him.
anymore. They all his.
He's creepy and psycho, but he's
I don't know.
interesting at
And
the same
it,
time.
you know what else? You know what else about this whole thing?
Makes
When I
you
was
wonder what-
sitting here
makes-
looking at this today,
Oh,
one of the
here's-
first. Hold
here's
on, let me
one for
finish
you.
my thought before my train derails. When I looked Manson
I'll
up
throw a
because we were
penny
trying
on
to
that
find
track.
out when he died and stuff, and looking up the
Throw a
dates of
penny
when he
down.
was born and where he was born and stuff, and I looked him up. And it said his children up there, and I saw the names of his children, and I'm thinking, oh my fucking God.
You look like him?
No, it wasn't. I didn't even see pictures. It was.
Oh.
They named him after him,
Oh, no.
You suck.
No,
Charles Manson Jr.
no.
Come on.
That kid's gonna suffer for life.
Oh, I know. Think about it.
Unless he's like his dad.
That kid's traumatized before he's even fucking 1 year old.
Yeah, he's got a sentence before he even lives.
No
Be real?
shit. No. Fuck off. I just said it. Go on with your thought.
No. Here, look.
I pass my time to you.
In.
Oh wait, we better not go there.
You're yielding your remaining
Yeah,
time.
I'm yielding my remaining time to you.
Okay, you have 10 minutes.
You can tell what I've been watching lately.
Wikipedia, according to the Wikipedia, okay, it's just really quick.
Yeah.
Personal life, under the personal life, it says religion. In July 61, Manson claimed his religion was Scientology.
Scientology.
That explains a shit ton.
Yeah, it does.
Oh yeah, he treated
And
women.
identified as a Scientologist
Well-
after studying the religion while incarcerated.
Well, a huge
with
percent
the
of
help
them in
of
California.
fellow
are
inmate
Scientologists.
Rainier.
Yeah, all them guys are fucked.
Rainier. However, he was not a member of the Church of Scientology. Manson completed 150 hours of auditing before declaring Scientology too crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Scientology
Okay,
was too crazy.
Too crazy for him.
Oh my god.
Scientology too
Oh my
crazy for him.
god.
Wow.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. This really does
Holy
explain.
cow.
This really does explain a shit ton about him. He learned from the Scientology how to get in people's heads and
Yeah.
fuck them over.
Yeah.
There was
Because
also a book
that is
he
what
read.
Scientology does to you.
Yeah.
There was also a book
Look at
that
the-
he read
look-
that
No, he
No,
also
no,
read
no, no,
books
no,
and
no,
stuff
no.
like
Yes,
this while he
but
was in
look,
prison.
no, seriously. Look at. Okay,
They-
Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is a good example. He's
He's dedicated.
He's really dedicated.
He's big time dedicated.
Who was it?
Danny
Who
Masterson
was it that he
was
was
another
married to? That
Katie Holmes.
Katie Holmes. He has been controlling her using the Scientology, and he has been keeping her pretty much a prisoner in her own mind.
And that's probably why.
I am.
That's probably why Danny Masterson's getting busted because of the sex charge for the sex charges. Because he was a big
Scientologist.
Scientologist. He was into that too.
Yeah, it has a lot to do
All right,
with
right,
what he
now,
does.
I-
He
It
gets
has
his
a
kid.
lot to do with it.
That's why he
It
doesn't
is-
get to see his
is
daughter often.
fucked up. Scientology is
Yeah.
when I seen this, I'm like, right. And then of course there at the end he says that Scientology is too crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a crazy fucker to begin with. Think about that.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. I mean, him,
Yeah, but he was-
him calling Scientology too crazy for
but by
himself.
that time, you know, he
That
was,
is just fucked
you know,
up, man.
and then all the time he was in prison, he was reading all these books about mind, you know, that has.
Mhm.
But now, listen, here's something fucked up. You're sitting around the dinner table with the Manson family.
Well,
All right, he can eat, I can eat, Manson can eat. You have to wait. The dogs have to eat first before the women can eat.
so you
Women were the
two
lowest
can eat and Joy can eat, but we can't.
Right.
until after Joy eats.
No, actually,
You
no,
have to
no,
wait
wait a
until
minute,
after
wait a
Joy
minute.
eats first.
Here's
Even
the
if
thing
she's
though.
a girl dog.
But that's what I was gonna get at. Did he revere the female dogs over the females
It
themselves?
doesn't matter. It was an
To
animal.
him, it was an animal.
Okay.
And they weren't much
Now,
higher.
does
on
it-
they
So
weren't much
basically,
higher up.
to him, women were lower than animals.
Women were lower than dogs.
Okay, I have a
That's
question.
fucked up.
I just wonder if he
That's where
considered
Scientology
a
comes
dog a family pet, or if it was
I
just
don't know. I'm just
an
telling
animal.
you that if you watch that
Sounds like
Helter,
that's where the
if you watch
Scientology
that
part comes
Helter
in.
Skelter movie, that one with 2004, there's a scene. You know, Linda Kasabian's new to the little Manson family, and they're gonna eat for the first time, and she starts to eat, and Gypsy tells her, no, you can't eat yet, and we gotta wait for the dogs to finish first. And she's like, why? And then Charlie goes off, what did I just hear? You know, and then she goes, Gypsy, what did she say? I can't even say that word. It sounded like blah, 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 blah. You know. She's like, she said,
doesn't
why,
know.
Charlie? He's like, why doesn't exist here? Why is not in our vocabulary? See, he starts, you know, he started in on her right away.
Yeah.
You know, and then later there's a scene where there's with Linda Kasabian, and he's like, you know, come to now, you know, you're in the now, you know. 'cause
I
he's
take it
talking-
these girls
and
were
he
young
reads-
teenagers when they found them.
he learned how to read people so well, so that when he saw somebody that was damaged, he was able to prey upon that.
Yep.
So you come from a broken home, you
Fucking
know, and
predator.
I feel like I don't belong, and he's like, well, you belong here, you know. It's,
He preyed on
I
their
have a family. You can
insecurities.
join my family.
He found.
well, yeah,
what
he
their
found the
insecurities
insecurities,
were,
and then he preyed
and he
upon them.
preyed upon them.
Yep.
And then he brainwashed them. But it started from
Yep.
day one.
And that's,
I mean,
that's how
you're
you
going to
do
eat
it.
at this table that you can't, you know, he controlled them. He
Mhm.
controlled
Wow.
every single part of the environment.
Aspect of their
Well, I
environment.
get that. I lived with a narcissist for 5 years.
You know,
Well, that's part of what he was. Is a
Yeah.
narcissist.
you know, it's yeah. And,
Scientological part.
and then there's also
Yeah.
a scene. It was
Yeah.
it was
That
Sadie. It was Sadie with
Four.
Nick and Sabian.
5 minutes.
They were scavenging in the back of a restaurant.
Oh, where'd that come from?
They were scavenging through a dumpster in the back of a restaurant, and she's like, "You're in love with him, aren't you?" I was in love, you know. And Sadie's like, "I was in love with him," and you know, And she's like, you think he, is Jesus Christ? And it's like, and she's like, yeah. And it's like they all think he's Jesus Christ, and it's like, and then there's
So
a
that'd
scene
be
that's
the
like, well,
LSD
you come
working.
and look for JC, huh?
That must have been the LSD kicking in.
No, they were
Oh,
out
before
in
that.
the dumpster. They were out.
Oh,
and
that
this was
part,
before she, they were out in a dumpster.
Oh,
And
God.
this
Can you
was
imagine what they were like
Linda
when they were on
Kasabian was
LSD?
just
Oh my
still
God.
real brand new to the family, and they were out scavenging.
Are
for
you
food.
sure that this Cameron was female?
I don't know.
You said her whenever you
Cameron's
said
a
that.
Well,
guy name.
usually Cameron is a female.
The response
Not
here
always.
is things
No,
grow.
my niece has a son named Cameron.
I understand that. So it could be a male.
But
Could be a
anyway,
male.
that's one scary dude.
Oh man.
Yep.
Fucked up. You said Scientology. Yeah, that explains a lot.
That explained a shit ton. Just the word.
But
They mess with people's heads bad.
He fucked
And
them up.
and the way I
Mhm.
see it is that is what
I mean,
helped him start learning how to fuck up people.
Look at Lisa Marie Presley. She was all into Scientology.
Uh-huh.
well, he sat there and Manson sat there and did all of this stuff. But like I said before at the beginning, he never laid a hand on a murder weapon. And he was never at the scene of the crime when the murders were committed.
Mm.
But he was still charged with
All
murder.
right, here we
That'll
go.
go down in the history books as far as,
Fiction
crime
inspired
goes.
by Manson. 1976, Helter Skelter.
That one sucked.
That was television drama.
Yeah, it sucked.
84, Manson family movies.
Those were pretty good.
That's film drama. 90, The Manson Family, musical opera by John
Musical
Moran.
opera.
Mhm.
Oh my God.
90,
There was two of them.
Assassins.
A Broadway musical.
Assassins. That would be a Broadway musical
With references to Manson.
You're looking through. 92, The Ben Stiller Show.
It had a skit with
I'm just
Manson
gonna say,
as a
that's still
recurring
With Manson as a reoccurring
character
played
played by
by
Bob
Bob Odenkirk.
Odenkirk.
Or, oh yeah, Odenkirk. Okay.
Merry Christmas,
98,
Charlie
Merry
episode.
Merry Christmas,
Charles Manson.
Charlie Manson.
Charlie Manson, a South Park episode.
An episode of South Park.
Oh,
Centered around
geez.
That was in
Manson.
98.
Uh-huh.
2003, The Dead Circus. Novel that includes the activities of Manson family as a major plot.
Actually, I got to go back one though. That Merry Christmas, Charlie Manson.
Yeah.
That South Park episode. That was a good episode. I did remember seeing that one now.
Oh, if it involved
I have
those-
seen a few of the South Park
and then
episodes, and that was one I have
2003,
seen.
2003, The Manson Family. A crime drama horror film
I
centered
saw that.
around the Manson family. 2006, Live Freaky, Die Freaky. Or Live Freaky, Die Freaky. A stop motion animation film based on the murder. Wow.
That's creepy.
2014, House of Manson.
I saw that.
A biographical feature film focusing on the life of Charles Manson
From his
from his childhood to arrest.
Honky Holocaust.
Yeah, 2014, Honky Holocaust.
Funky Holocaust.
An
Uh-huh.
alternate reality film where the Manson family
What kind of was the
successfully
Holocaust if
ignites
you
the
look at it
race
that way?
war, prophesized by Helter Skelter, and emerge from their underground refuge to confront the blacks now in
Oh,
power.
puppy must be tired.
So that's basically what he was trying to do, because they were gonna hide in Devil's Canyon.
Right. 2015, Manson Family Vacation. Indie comedy inspired by Manson.
Aquarius.
15 to 16, Aquarius. Television crime drama that includes storylines inspired by actual events which involve Manson.
I saw some of those.
2016, The Girls, a novel by Emma Klein, loosely inspired by the Manson family. 2017, Mindhunter, the first episode
Wow,
of
they made a
season
lot
one.
of stuff.
First episode of season one used Charles Manson as a case study. Manson is featured in the second season. Oh wow! 2017 American Horror Story Cult. The 7th season of the horror anthology series American Horror Story. 2018 Charlie Says, a film centered around Manson and 3 of his followers. And this year, there's 2 of them this year. The Haunting of Shannon Tate, directed by Daniel Ferrans. The film revolves around Tate during the last evening of her life. And 2019, the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Directed by Quentin Tarantino.
I got a question.
And they didn't
The film
mention.
has a plot revolving around Manson and the Manson family.
And they didn't mention the 2004 Helter Skelter movie.
No, they didn't.
I got a question. What would happen if you put Hannibal and Charles in the same room?
Ooh. Hannibal Lecter and Charles Manson meets.
In the same fucking room.
Isn't Hannibal Lecter the one that ate people?
Yeah, with part
Yeah,
of
but
the
he was
liver and
he
part of
was
the-
a lot like
But he was a psychologist.
He was a lot like Charles Manson. He could get in your head.
Yeah.
He get in
Did you ever see Silence of the Lambs?
He get in the heads of his victims first.
Hell no.
He get in the heads of his victims first, then he'd
I
kill
I
them,
remember
and
when
then
that
he'd eat
came
them.
out. Came out like early
That was
90s.
his trophy, because he'd eat his trophies.
Yeah. He was sick.
Oh,
But
it was fucked up.
Could
man.
you see that? You would just put them in shackles, not like that animated. What was that? The Celebrity Deathmatch, not that. Just put them in shackles in the same room with like whatever in between
So
them.
I mean, what do you
Hannibal
think?
Lecter,
What do you think would happen?
Hannibal Lecter on one side, Charles Manson on the other side, and see who gets in whose head first.
Yeah.
That
Like,
would
what do you think would happen? It'd be weird.
that would be
Charlie
fucked up,
Manson
man.
would be the crazy
What the-
Charlie.
What?
What?
Did I really make you that twisted over the last 7 years?
Well, you're talking about different stuff. I'm like, what
But
would
no,
happen?
for you to come up with that, did I really twist you that much over the last 7 years?
You must have.
Good Lord.
But wouldn't it be interesting?
That would be kind of...
Like, what would happen? Would they sit and
You wouldn't
talk,
want
or
them
would
to
they?
kill each other. You want to see who gets inside of whose mind
I could tell
first.
you
Yeah.
who would get inside whose head first.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Probably Charles.
Charlie Manson, when he with the
Wait.
when I was just
I
listen.
object. Wait, I gotta object first. You can't say shit because you haven't seen Silence of the Lambs.
I
That's
will never
true.
watch Silence of the Lambs
See?
because it's a
So
horror
how do you
movie.
know?
I cannot watch horror movies.
So how do you know?
Unless
That's
you
what-
want me up at night, screaming my head off.
But then
I
you
am
can't
not-
I don't
have
like
an
horror
opinion.
movies either, and I've seen it. It was.
You can't have an opinion because you don't know who Hannibal
Anyway,
Lecter is.
Well, the thing is,
Wait. Put lotion on the skin.
anyway,
Then you gotta go.
some of the articles that I have read about Charlie Manson, when he got put in prison,
Hannibal's not the one that said that.
he wouldn't be him normal self. He'd be
No,
the
no, but Hannibal
crazy
did that.
Charlie.
Well,
in other
you know
words,
what?
his craziness would come out a
Yeah.
lot more.
I don't know
And
about
I think-
that.
I think
he
his
would be
craziness
able to
is
get
that
into
Hannibal
Hannibal
might-
Lecter's head.
Let me tell you something. Let me give you an
His
example.
craziness would piss off
Hold on,
Hannibal.
hold on.
Yeah.
I'm going to give her a perfect example. Here's a perfect example of something. There was a scene in Silence of the Lambs. Okay.
There's the second one if it's
No, it was the first one with
No,
Jodie
it
Foster.
The
Just
first
wait.
one was just
No.
Hannibal.
No, it was
No.
with Jodie Foster. Jodie Foster
Yeah.
gets. Jodie Foster's
Clarice.
a FBI
Clarice.
agent in training named
Clarice.
Clarice, right? She gets sent by her boss to go interview Hannibal Lecter. And as she goes, when she first gets down there, she's too close to one guy's cell, and he's sitting there beating off in the cell, and he throws a bunch of cum in her face, right?
Yeah, it's
I can't
nasty.
remember, what was the guy's name? I can't remember the guy's
I don't
name.
remember
Miggs or something like
Yeah.
that, okay? Anyway, she leaves, she gets out of there and stuff because she's like, all right, come back. And it's like, you better leave before he gets, I don't think he's crazy, blah, blah, blah. And Hannibal Lecter, all right, it's like she gets a phone call within like 24 hours. Maurice does, right?
Mhm.
Saying that Miggs is dead, that he died by swallowing his own tongue.
Oh.
Want to know why? Because Hannibal Lecter got inside of his head just from talking to him from the next cell over.
Yeah.
Made him
Yeah.
swallow his own fucking tongue.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because of what he did to Clarice, because he liked her.
Remember when they transported him? They put the mask on him and put him on,
Right.
put him on the dolly.
But I'm saying, you know, somebody that can do that, and then, you know, you sit him in that room with Manson. I don't know if I could call who would win that
No.
fight.
I don't know either.
No, that would be an
I mean,
interesting. That would be
Right,
very
right
interesting.
away, you got to think about it. This
Who would get
motherfucker
whose
is
brain first?
this motherfucker
I
over
mean, two
here.
psychos. It's like, yeah, think
Well,
about it.
not only is he a psycho, he was a psychologist.
Yeah.
I created a monster.
I mean, he was a psychologist psycho.
Yeah.
Who better to get inside of your head?
Yeah.
You know, and then you got Manson.
He was a doctor, wasn't he? Yeah.
No, well, Manson wasn't
Manson
a doctor.
Manson wasn't a doctor, but Hannibal.
Hannibal Lecter was a doctor.
Psychiatrist, yeah.
But Manson
He's a
learned how to get into
psychologist.
people's heads, but he had to have
The only
help.
difference is one does medicine.
He had to have help with the acid or the LSD or something like that a little bit. But the thing is, he also knew, because of his prison and his streetwise and all of this, he also knew how to read people extremely well. And
Yeah.
that helped too,
Yeah.
you know. So it would be a good battle. I don't know if I could call that one. You know, if you put them inside, you know,
I figured
you
that'd
can
be a
keep them
good-
shackled up, but
I
just
figured that was a good question for you guys.
you got to sit there and make sure that they can talk to each other first, you know,
Hey,
at
don't be
least,
making
and
noise
hear
with
each
it.
other. So if they can
Yeah.
talk to each other and hear each other, but they can't touch each other or you know, get physical at all, I don't know who could win. I mean, both
Anyway.
one or the other is going to win, but
It'll
it'd
take
be
a while.
interesting to fucking watch.
Yeah.
Maybe
All right,
we
well,
should
we
make
got
a
it.
animation like that.
I don't know. We gotta call this one.
All right.
So it's
So until next time.
been an interesting discussion.
We'll see
Learn a few twisted details.
I was thinking about that when I was thinking
next
Joy out.
Friday, same time,
You scare me.
same channel.
And what is the subject going to be for next week?
And don't forget to like and share
They don't know.
and subscribe to us on YouTube.
How loud
And you can find all of our links at utterlyinsaneproductions.com.
Oh, sleeping patterns?
No, I'm
How crazy is
thinking we
Mark's
might
girlfriend?
talk about that topic Tom came up with.
Well, we could.
And
Oh, yeah.
and
I'll have to check that
that
Oh, Reservoir Dogs?
no.
Oh,
The one about the alien, the human race being aliens.
Yeah.
That we were
Mark's good on that.
implanted
Mark's
here
good
on
with that
Earth.
subject.
You know, Darwin's theory, you know, got shot all to hell.
That's one of Mark's favorite
Here.
subjects.
You know. So until next time,
Might be too long.
I'm
episode
Joe.
next
That's
week.
Mark, or we could call him
And
asshole.
if we get going on that subject Tom was sent the link to,
Yeah.
we may wind up having that a 2 or 3 hour show.
Yeah.
Me
Yeah.
lying
And
with
you
it.
Maybe a
can
long
find
one
this
now.
one up in YouTube. On YouTube, I'll
We have
put
to
this
do a
one up on
two-parter.
YouTube in a couple of days too. So
All right.
thanks for
Have a
watching.
good one.
Have a
Guys,
safe
fun.
weekend. Bye.
Later.